Hello, and thank you so much for serving on this Sunday, April 14th, 2024. I'm going to give you a brief walkthrough of what to expect for today's lesson. We are going to be doing Gospel Story Bible Lesson 13, Isaac and Ishmael. So a lot of our lessons are going to look very similar to what we've been doing. I'm just going to kind of give you, go quickly through those parts and then just give you more detail as we get into the lesson and the craft. So show up around 9:30, check in the check-in room, get your sticker, do the group huddle, pray together, and then come to the room where we're going to set up centers as usual. And you're going to turn on the YouTube channel. You can just let it play through the music until it is time for us to do the worship time together. So at 10:10, it's time for the kids to clean up their tables. They know how to do that properly, everything off the floor, everything where it belongs, and then dismiss them by grade level to the worship area in front of the TV. And the song we're going to do this week is Every Move I Make. They did this last week. I'm going to be doing songs 2 weeks in a row so they can become more familiar with them. So if anyone says we've done this before, yes, we're doing it 2 weeks in a row. We'll have a new song next week. So you're going to do the worship music together. And then at that point, around 10:20 or so, it's time for 3rd through 5th grade to go upstairs. You need to take the yellow bag, which I'm going to show you right now. If you turn right there on the hooks is the yellow bag. It will always be there. It's going to have your lesson plans, most of your materials. The only caveat to that would be if it's a large material that I've already set in the classroom, but this week it's small stuff, so it's going to be in your baggie waiting on you. All right, so here we go. So when you get into your separate classrooms, so you're going to have the 3 classrooms, you're going to do our monthly memory verse. We are on week 2. So the first thing you're going to do is go through the entire memory verse multiple times, saying it out loud together. You can do it as an echo read all together. Let one student lead the group. And then you're going to fill in week 2 part of the verse on the paper. And sent his son to be the propitiation. Sorry, that is a really hard word. Propitiation for our sins. And I apologize if I'm still saying that wrong. But you have them write that on the paper, maybe talk briefly about propitiation, that we answered the questions about what that means last week, see if any of them can remember what that means. And then after you've practiced the memory verse multiple times, you're going to move back into the tacos prayer strategy, which we've been doing this since August. They should know what the letters in the acronym stand for, remembering that they're going to give 2 to 3 examples as a whole group for the different areas, with the exception of confession. That is a silent time between them and God to think of things that they should confess to God, that where they thought their way was better than God this past week. And so then you as a group leader, especially if you're downstairs, can pray over the kids. If you're upstairs, you can maybe even encourage kids to take turns praying over those things together, and then finish it up with the Lord's Prayer. And then you're going to move into the lesson time. So if you are downstairs, remember, this is a good time to transition the kids to a different space. If you've come to the carpet to do memory verse and tacos prayer, have them get up and maybe move back to their tables for the next part, or to the worship area, so they can get those wiggles out and not be sitting in the same place for too long. So when we get to the lesson, it is on pages 26 and 27 in your Bibles. And so you're going to, if you're in K through 2, read it out loud to them. If you're in 3rd through 5th, you're going to let them read it out loud to you, paragraph by paragraph. There are multiple copies of the book in the classroom. And then you're going to look up where it's located in the Bible. So it is Genesis 21, 1 through 21. If you're downstairs, I would just have them find the book of Genesis chapter 21, and then you guide them through the rest of it. If they're upstairs, they can find that section together and read through where it's actually located in the Bible, so they can get those extra details about the story that we read in the Gospel Storybook Bible. And then you've got some follow-up questions that you're going to do together, and then it is time for the craft. So if you are downstairs, you are doing kind of a detailed craft this week, so I'm trying to prep as much of it as I can ahead of time so that they still have stuff to do, but it's not an overwhelming amount. So this is what the direction sheet looks like. So there will be a direction sheet in your material bucket that's on the top of that gray rolling cart next to the rug. And so you also have an example craft. So this is what the example craft looks like. I'm going to try and show it to you without dropping my thing here. So in it has the water, and so it can go up and down in there, so you can kind of see how this is supposed to go. Sorry, it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you can see that the bottom part feeds into the top part. So when you look at the actual worksheet, I'm going to show you one that I haven't prepped yet. They have the slider, they have the water kind of droplet here. It's the water skin, the water skin here. And then they have the 2 pieces that go on the back that hold it together. So So what I'm doing to prep each page is the water skin is supposed to be cut out so that you can see the piece that goes in between it. So I'm going to pre-cut the water skin part section out so that the kids will only have to cut out this and this. And in order to connect this so that you connect it on the back, you need these two pieces here. I'm going to pre-cut those and have those in a separate spot for teachers. These will be in your material thing in a little Ziploc bag, because I know what's going to happen if the kids are cutting 4 pieces, they're going to lose some. So I'm going to pre-cut these and have these ready for teachers in your material cart along with the tape. So when the kids have finished this part, they're going to cut this out, make sure they're following the outside line. They're going to fold these 2 flaps behind and bring it to you as a teacher, and you're going to just use this to tape it along the back, kind of like how you see here. They glued, but we're going to tape to keep it simpler. You're just going to tape it there, and then they're going to go back and color this and cut it out, and then they can slide that in between the flaps and things that you have taped on. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully cutting out the water skin and those 2 pieces and keeping those separate for the teachers will make this a little bit simpler to be able to do. So the kids will only have to cut out these 2 pieces, fold these back, and then the teacher can come and tape it for them. And then they just thread that through the middle. But I'm going to I'm going to prepare those. That's a better way to phrase it. Prepare these ahead of time so that hopefully that will go more smoothly during the craft time for the K-2 kiddos. Now, if you are upstairs in 3rd through 5th this week, I have a activity sheet that is printed out separately. It's going to be stapled to your lesson plan in the yellow bag when you go up, but I'll show it to you now. It is scripted. And again, with scripts, they are how you feel comfortable. So if you feel very comfortable with what you're doing, like you've already looked at the lesson plan ahead of time so you know what to expect, and you feel comfortable with using your words with the group, please feel free to do that. If you have some discomfort, like maybe you don't feel totally comfortable with what you are about to teach that day, or if you just need some guidance with talking with a group of kiddos, then this is very, very helpful. So there are questions to ask and then things to prep ahead of time. So all you're going to need is their Bibles, which are already upstairs, a sturdy rope, and then you are the adult volunteer. So they're going to look at Titus chapter 1, verse 2. This is all about God's faithfulness. So how God still provided for Ishmael in this section that you guys are going to be reading. God was faithful. And so this is another way of looking at God's faithfulness. They're going to be referencing Titus in this. And then on the back, it continues. There's more script. And then follow-up questions if you have time. So that is what the 3rd through 5th graders will be doing. When you finish around 11:10 is when everyone needs to return downstairs. The only caveat to that would be if for some reason the sermon ends early, you would receive a text to say it's time to come back down now. And so if you get that text before 11:10, that means you really do need to just stop right there very quickly, get the kids back downstairs, because that means the sermon is over and parents are starting to come back and pick up. 11:10 is a pretty safe time. Usually it gives us a wiggle room of about 5 to 10 minutes because they're usually not done at that point. But there are times when it ends that early. So then when you're back downstairs, the kids all need to be in the worship area watching the video. There'll be a video about Isaac available on our YouTube playlist. So you need to play that video for them to watch and listen quietly as they are being called for dismissal. It just cuts down on some of the chaos that can happen during dismissal time. All of the kids need to be over there. No one should be up and playing or have games out or anything. They all need to be in the worship area together. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for serving this week. Look forward to seeing you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can call me or text me. If you don't have my phone number, you can find it in Planning Center. And yeah, thank you guys so much for all that you do. We'll see you on Sunday.